What's up, everybody? Big Herc, Prison Talk Live, episode 16. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody had a good weekend and got to enjoy whatever they were doing. I know I had a good weekend. Um, just want to say, if you haven't told your friends and family to subscribe to our YouTube, Fresh Out Life After Penitentiary. Also, check out our Instagram, and also our Twitter, which is FreshOutSeries, and we also have a SoundCloud now, FreshOutSeries. So check it out. Also, if you guys haven't got a chance to check out our website, www.freshoutseries.com. And if you have any questions, you have anything you want us to address on Prison Talk, we do Prison Talks videos during the week. Hit us up at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. I'm going to save the shout outs to the very end, probably about 325. We'll get all the shout outs in. But you guys have been great. Love tuning in on Mondays with you guys. Today I want to talk about, just briefly touch on, before we went to open questions, the prison phone system and how fucked up it is and how they make it hard for you to communicate with loved ones in prison. I don't know, if a lot of you guys have been locked up. Hopefully you haven't. But one of the things that makes a lot of money for the prison system is the people that contract with the prisons for the phone communication. And basically, the phone system is a monopoly. It's a racket. You can't really, there's no way around it if you want to call out, want to talk to a loved one. You're talking about, a 15-minute phone call might run you 24, 25 bucks. And, it's a shitty situation because you have no other way to really communicate with your people if you need to make a phone call. So if you ain't got no money on the books and you don't have any way to, get money on your books, you're shit out of luck. You can't really talk to anybody. So, the best thing to do is to hope that, you'll get visits so you can talk to people in person, and you will have an opportunity to somehow maybe balance the money you do have so you can make save it for an important phone call when you need it. Because you're also limited to how many minutes you can call a month. In the feds, it's 300 minutes a month. And what a lot of people do is, because they only have the 300 minutes, they'll use another individual's phone line and basically, put money on their books and pay them to, use their phone. And so, you might have a guy using 2 or 3 phone lines, but if you get caught talking on somebody else's phone line, because in the feds, all phone communication has to be approved by the counselor, and it's like a voice type recognition thing. So if they find out that you're talking on somebody else's line, you can get a shot and lose good time, and the individual that lets you use their phone, they can get a shot and lose good time. So, and a shot means like an infraction. It'd be like, consider like getting a ticket on the street, and they can lock you up in a hole for that, you know what I'm saying? And, it's just bullshit. Now in the county, it's basically, however many times you can get on the phone. And usually they don't have money that per se you can put on the phone. You just got to call out and hope that a person accepts your call. And, you do have motherfuckers trying to run the phone. They'll be there all fucking day. And you might have to check a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Because, you're trying to talk to your people. But, in the county is different. It's first come, first serve. And, sometimes there's a line. You jump the line. You might get your motherfucking wig split. You know what I mean? So you're dealing with that type of bullshit. There's a lot of phone manipulation. I seen a motherfucker get popped upside the head with a phone because he was talking too loud on the phone next to him, and the dude couldn't hear his people. So, there's a lot of, there's etiquette to being on the phone too. You don't want to get in there and be talking all crazy and shit, because you got other people that are probably maybe a foot to 2 feet away from you, and they're trying to also talk on the phone. So, it's a shitty situation. But like usually once you get designated to the state or to the feds, you enter in your code, and then you're able to make a phone call direct if you have money on your books. If not, you can try to call collect, and it'll give you the option. And the person on the other side of the line, they got to choose whether or not to accept your phone call. So all the way around, it's a shitty situation because the phone system is basically raping you. 15 minutes, 20, $25. It's $1 billion industry in the state and the feds. They're making a lot of fucking money off the phones, and the prisons are capitalizing on it. The contractors are capitalizing on it, but people trying to communicate with loved ones are getting screwed. So if you have anybody in prison and you can petition or do something about that, I would speak up. But that's why you got motherfuckers now using cell phones, sneaking in, which they're sneaking in through guards. And, the phones are everywhere. You got a motherfucker selling a cell phone in prison, $300-400. You know what I'm saying? It's a burner. So, Wi-Fi and shit like that, motherfuckers, and charging the phone up, they don't figure out ways to do all that. They're buying, extra batteries. You got battery packs you could charge. You use to charge your phone. And, there's areas where you can actually get access to a plug, an outlet. So, dudes are charging phones all day. So yeah, the cell phones is real big, and that's a hustle. The guards are making a lot of money, and because you can get a cheap phone, shit, $90, $75, and flip that in prison, $300. Or basically they might bring in 4 or 5 phones. I know a homie that he was telling me his folks was bringing in 4 or 5 phones a week. Basically he was making, what is 5 times 150? He's making $750 a week slinging phones. The cell phone hustle. So, phones, talking to people, man, is so, you take it for granted on the street, but it's a really big thing in prison. You want to have that connection with the street. So you got a lot of people, hustling cell phones. If you're a broke motherfucker, you just ask the fuck out. You know what I mean? But if you got any type of money and, you can make it do. And if you got a cell phone, you can make moves. Motherfuckers is, you got motherfuckers, whether it's doing something for them, picking something up, doing a transaction, shit. Now, as far as like the phones, I know dudes were slanging with the basic phones. Smartphones aren't really feasible to be slanging in a prison because it's just, they're so expensive. So dudes want throwaways. If you're dealing with like, the cell phone game, it's usually a cheap ass phone you can get from Walmart, Target, and it'll turn on. It's $100, probably really cheap, maybe $80, maybe $50 a month. T-Mobile got phones $50 a month, and the T-Mobile phone is cheap, $100, $80, and basically, use the phone till it's no good no more. So, yeah, man, the phone game is vicious, and like I said, if you ain't got no money on your books, you're shit out of luck. Otherwise, trying to call people on the street, you don't want to blow their phone up with all these collect calls. So it's some shitty shit. So, fuck the phone system. Fuck going to prison, period. Y'all stay out of prison and let's get this money on the street. But I just want to touch on the phone game because it's $1 billion hustle in prison. A lot of times they don't want to talk about that because they're exploiting family members and prisoners. And, they're already exploiting their labor through that slave labor. So phones is another way they're making money in prison, getting paid, and you're getting used. So fuck the phone system. So yeah, I want to open it up. You guys got any questions? You guys got any stuff you want to talk about today that's on your mind? Holler at me, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what it do. And like I said, I'll do the shout outs at the end. I see some people putting putting where they're from out there. I just don't want to get into it right now, but I'm going to definitely represent y'all. So remember, I'm going to come back and holler at y'all. Renting a cell phone from another inmate. If you want to rent a cell phone, or even when you buy a cell phone, usually what somebody does is, hey man, I'm going to give you an address and you do a mail out, which you can send money out, and I'll have you send money to family member, friend, wife, girlfriend, whatever the case may be. And when I find out that money touched, basically you got credit with me and I can rent the phone out like that. So that's another hustle. Motherfuckers can rent the phone out and basically make money off the cell phone rental game. And something like that shit, if a motherfucker ain't got enough money, he want to just make a call here and there, he might, motherfucker might be charging 20, 40 bucks, a pop to rent the phone out, because if you can't buy it outright, then you got to rent it. So, that's how it goes down. So yeah, dude might get he's doing the same shit that the prison's doing. One call, 20 bucks, or he might give you a time limit. You might get to make X amount of calls for 50 bucks, So, it just depends on what type of, rate they want to apply to their phone, but that's how the game goes down, and that's how people are making money. What's the most phones you've seen one inmate or gang own at once? Well, a cat I knew that was in the state, Crip partner, he was slanging probably 5 to 7 phones a week. So, like I said, he had a female guard that showed him love, and he had the phones jumping off, and he was balling off the phone game. He only dealt with 1 or 2 people though, and you can't really let the homies know, because they gonna front you off, or they gonna think you owe them something. So a lot of times, it's motherfuckers you don't even really, people that you wouldn't even normally even fuck with, that you're selling the phones to, and they distribute them. So, do they often cut your phone calls off? The guards listening in? Yeah. If you start talking any business on the phone, if it seems like you're trying to make a drug deal or some type of transaction, they can cut your phone off. And I've seen them where they come and just grab a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like if you say, hey man, go split what's the name's wig, or hey, that motherfucker man, blah 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 blah, or did you hear about so and so? I've seen where they come and they put a motherfucker under investigation. So you got to watch your mouth when you're on them phones. They're monitoring everything. You have no privacy, and basically, the phone is it's open access, and they basically record all those conversations, and they can go back and print them out and look at exactly what you said. So if you criminate yourself, you can catch another case. Yeah, man, it's the guards do listen to what you talk about. Did I have a phone? I didn't have a phone when I was in Lompoc and Sheridan. The phone game wasn't really popping off like that. Not when I was in there. That shit started cracking here, I don't know, probably within the last 10, 15 years. And I've been out for 9 years, so I didn't have a phone up in there. And, I wasn't really calling a lot of motherfuckers anyways, man. I was just focusing on getting my shit together. Because people on the outside get in trouble communicating with you, even though they know you can't have a cell phone in prison. The thing about that, now, if you got a cell phone and you're talking to a person on the street, most likely you're not going to use, you're going to talk in code, and that phone call's not recorded. So they really don't have a way of determining who was on the other line, unless somehow they done hacked into your phone and you kept using the same phone. But if you keep switching lines, they don't have no way to really find out who the other person is, or to, get them caught up. And like, dudes are putting moves down on cell phones all day long. You know what I'm saying? They try to make money, man. They got to survive. So, the phone is it's a monetary item that you can use to, make money with. But yeah, the person on the other side, for one thing, you don't want to talk about anything incriminating on the phone, period. Anyways, usually you want to do, talk to somebody in person. And for number two, the person on the street, you don't want them talking about, dirt outright anyways. So it's all coded. You got to know how to talk and basically have some type of communication without really communicating. You know what I'm saying? What issues are present in the black culture? Somebody said something like that. But, here's a cat. Just came home from Feds in Butner, North Carolina. I know what you're talking about with the phones, cuz I have one of them Obama phones, and I paid $200 for that shit. 500 minutes, then it was a trash. There you go. So here's a guy from Butner, North Carolina, from the Feds, and had that Obama phone. And like I said, those are cracking off all day. But, when you're talking on the phone, you know what I'm saying, you use code words, you know what I'm saying, you're not really... you're not going to be talking about drugs outright, cocaine, methamphetamine, bring the H in. Nah, you better have some type of breakdown And even if it is a throwaway phone, make sure that you don't say shit that you wouldn't normally say anyway. So you got to be smart about it. And I haven't heard anybody. Somebody said about keystering phones. I ain't heard about a motherfucking keystering a phone. If usually the phones, I'll tell you right now, are being brought in by the guards. The guards, the counselors, they bring them in their fucking lunch. You know what I mean? Motherfucker might act like they're bringing in a lunch. They don't get searched like that. So they're bringing the phones in, and then they turn around and they slang, they pass it off to an inmate, on a DL, because there's times where they're walking around the cells, they catch a dude, boom, or they call him to the counselor's office. A dude might be working the mop bucket, they drop him in the mop bucket. There's all kind of ways, but there's ways to get phones up in there, just like there's ways to get drugs up in there. And keystering one phone ain't worth it. If they're gonna bring in phones, it's gonna be five to seven at a time. Were you able to keep those phones charged up? They got ways to charge them. Like I said, man, motherfuckers got battery packs now that last, 3, 4, 5 days. So you could charge up a phone for a minute. And then there's ways that, dudes are in there like MacGyver, man, and they go into a law library or to a light socket and they rigging up some shit and they plugging it in so to charge up the phone. So, motherfuckers is, they making moves with those cell phones. How much do they sell those phones for? Like I said, man, anywhere from, it could be $300 to $500. It depends on where you're at and how accessible they are. A motherfucker that's balling, $500 ain't shit, And to another motherfucker, it might be $300 might not be shit. But like, say, if you're getting 5 of them at a time from the guard for $150, you turn around, you're selling them for $300. The next motherfucker is selling them for $400, $500. So, it's the trickle up theory as far as the hustle. Somebody said about Fresh Out, how you make money fresh out. How do you make money fresh out? You mean of a prison or at a jail? Well, that's what I'm assuming you're saying. But you make money fresh out, man, by doing a number of things. There was a guy recently I seen on Facebook. He put an advertisement on Craigslist to stand in line, and he was charging motherfuckers to stand in line. You got motherfuckers that want the new iPhone or the new Jordans. They don't want to stand in line. You charge them $200-$300. This cat, he was making bread. One given day he might make $5,000-$6,000 standing in the line for motherfuckers. And he's in New York, which is a money city, and he got tourists. So you got these tourists who don't want to stand in line, who want to do all this shit, and they want to have access to basically enjoy their stay. And so he was basically monetizing access to getting to some of these plays, getting into certain venues. Getting tickets for stuff. People don't want to stand in line for tickets, man. So if you're paying for a ticket to get into a particular play, let's say $1,000, couple thousand to have somebody stand in line and pay a couple hundred ain't shit. So fresh out, there's a lot of hustles you can do. You can do that. You can if you got any type of skill set in construction, you know how to fuck with cars. There's a lot of hustles. Somebody said, is it possible to be colorblind and not see race? Is it possible to be colorblind and not see race? In prison, race is right in your face because everybody is involved in it. The guards, other inmates, you can, as far as avoiding it, how you carry yourself, how you articulate yourself, that separates you. But, race in prison is just one of the many political things they exploit. You know what I'm saying? So, you just got to know how to deal with it. And like I said, if you're somebody who knows how to really talk to people, you can get around a lot of it and interact with multiple races in the feds, in the state. White guy talking to a black guy. Blacks don't like it. Whites don't like it because you got the majority of motherfuckers in there that are caught up on, racial shit. Mexican guy hanging out with a black guy. It's just a lot of bullshit. So in the state, it's a lot different. Yeah, somebody said, where you choose to break out hustle. Somebody said something about, did I ever make a kite? A kite is basically a note or a message. That's what they call, or a letter. When you send a letter to somebody, then you shoot a kite out. if you're in one joint and you got somebody that's a hot boy going to another joint, or you're trying to send a message to another joint, you shoot a kite out, and that kite might be carried by a messenger that's getting transferred. Motherfucker might keister, you know what I'm saying? It might be sent to the street and then sent back into the prison. There's all kind of ways that it makes its way, but depending on the importance of the kite, it determines how it's going to be transported. But I wasn't in no political shit like that, or I wasn't really involved in messaging people from other pens, so I don't really have to send any kites anywhere. Remember from different sides, they're both not saying. I don't really understand Bob's question. Somebody said, do you ever go back to the pen to visit ex-prisoner friends? And if so, how does it feel? Since I've been out, I haven't been back to the pen to visit anybody in prison. What I have done is maintain communication through emails. In the feds, they got texting. I done texted with some of the homies. I done talked to them on the phone. One of my homeboys was being transferred, a good friend. And because he was at a camp, he got to travel by himself. I actually met up with him at one of his stops and kicked it with him in between waiting for his next bus ride. So, I keep it 100, man. Loyalty to me is very important. And, the homies that look out for me, I look out for them. And, so when I had the opportunity to do that, I drove a couple hours, met up with him for a couple hours. And, man, we chopped it up, bought a nigga lunch, and he kept it pushing. But because of my criminal record and because they do a background check, I haven't even attempted to go and visit anybody in prison because of the bullshit and just because of them having to, look all into my background. I don't want anybody that I'm visiting to have to deal with the scrutiny of me being a visitor. But, I haven't been back to the feds or to the state institutions to visit anybody that's incarcerated. And no, I haven't ever keistered anything. Somebody said, are there a lot of black Muslims in the pen? Yeah, there's a lot of black Muslims. One of my good partners that looked out for me was 5%, part of the nation. And the nation's real big in the pen. I heard it's really big on the East Coast, but there are a lot of Muslim brothers in there. I was cool with, quite a few of them because of the way I conducted myself, and I didn't have any problems with them. Let me see. Somebody said, do you send the homies money sometime? Yeah, I've sent quite a few homies money. Whenever I can, I try to, dudes that need shit, I look out for them. I done looked out for, individuals that looked out for me. And, when I had the funds, I, sent some couple cats some bread here and there. So I have looked out for people who have, asked for it, or motherfuckers I knew that needed it. Somebody said, does prison make a person more of a stone cold criminal than they were before they went in your opinion? I think you can. I think the potential when you come out with all that frustration, you have a lot of animosity. You felt like you've been duped. You know what I'm saying? You have a tendency to actually sometimes want to get out and prove a point, and that's what happens. So you got guys who have went in prison and they come out worse than what they were. But it takes a strong person to really say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do something else and I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And that's where you win. So, there is a potential if you want to go in there and just become a master criminal, get drug connections. A lot of guys come out of prison and they're balling. Why? Because all the big D-boy connections are in the pen. You got, a lot of dudes who may be doing a lot of time and they still got a plug. And they're like, man, you look out for me, I'll look out for you. Dudes get out. Somebody blesses them with 10 birds. Hey, ain't no looking back. So, there's a lot of guys who use prison as a stepping stone into bigger hustles, which could lead to doing more time, but that's what it is. Somebody said, Herc, why would you say Mexicans go into gang life so hard in and out of prison? It's a generational thing now. Well, I'm not Mexican, so I can't really speak directly on the Mexican culture. But as far as like on blacks and the black culture, I would say, you know, it's just all about education and upbringing, man, and what you feel your life is valued at. You know, when you're gang banging, man, and you're in the gang, you feel like your life doesn't have a lot of value, so you're willing to take chances on doing stuff that can jeopardize your life. But if you are living in a, you know, you got a nice house, a family that cares about you, you know, you're getting bread, you're traveling, you're doing things, you got a good job, you know, why you want to go into gang life? You know what I'm saying? That's not entertaining to you because it looks like something that's not worth your while because you have a higher sense of value. So it all depends on what type of environment you grow in and what you've been exposed to and your education. So I say that plays a big factor in all cultures as far as what you get involved in. And even if you're educated, you can still get involved in gangs, but you know, the opportunity for success is more, you have a great opportunity for success if you have a better education and you're exposed to more opportunities. Somebody said, they house the mentally ill and general population. Where do those guys go? If you're really mentally ill, they got mental facilities for those people. They got facilities that basically all they house is the mentally challenged. Cause you got people, man, you know, you see, I don't know if you guys have, you know, seen like a lot of homeless, but you got people that are really mentally crazy, schizophrenia, you know what I mean, bipolar, and they can't really function without meds and they can't really be around people in general population. These are the guys where they'll do something violently and won't even realize they did it. So they do have mental places that are designated to house the more troubled or mentally challenged inmates so that they don't, you know, just get out of control in general population. They said, what happens to inmates who are detoxing? Are they put in isolation? Inmates that are detoxing, if you're detoxing, you must have just got off of drugs if you got locked up and you had it in your system. So that person, man, you're in general population, you're shit out of luck. I mean, they might, if you really going through it, put you in a cell somewhere if they have space for you to go in there and be shitting and throwing up whatever you're doing. But for the most part, motherfuckers is just, man, they in general, they in the dorm, man, just on some boo-boo status, you know what I'm saying? Trying to deal with it. And, you know, guys in the pen that get on H that are, you know, shooting up in the pen and, you know, then they having withdrawals. There's no detox. You better figure a way to handle that shit yourself because they're not separating you from general population because you're on drugs that you purchase in the pen. That's something you got to figure it out on your own. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. What do you do if you come across ex-criminal friends? Do you still chop it up with them? Of course. All my friends are ex-criminals damn near. You know what I'm saying? The ones that, you know, a lot of ones I grew up with and some of the other, you know, I got homies that I did time with that I still, you know, we see each other on a regular. I don't, you know, shy away from communicating with these people or, you know, sharing ideas because the guys that I did time with that are ex-felons, they're about their bread. They're businessmen, they're entrepreneurs, they're involved in, you know, everything from real estate to development, you know what I mean? You know, stocks and stuff like that. So we all communicate. So that's what's up. Somebody said, you know, Herc said, Herc, I've been to Pelican Bay State Prison. No, I've never been to Pelican Bay or to a 4-yard. You know, just the feds and California Youth Authority and Juvenile Hall. So I've never been in, I've never been in the state, a 4-yard. What gang is usually the biggest in prisons? It depends on where you're at. You know, I mean, if you're, you know, West Coast, you got, in California, you got, you know, Serrano, Norteño, you know, you got Aryan Brotherhood, you got BGF, you got Crips, Bloods, you got, you know, Bulldogs. It just depends on what facility you're at. And, you know, and this is in the state. In the feds, you got some of those gangs too. You got, you know, you got the Bay, you got the LA car, you know, you might have, you know, the Sac Town, you know what I mean? It can be broken up into gangs. It can be broken up into demographics. It can be broken up into race, you know. I don't really, like I said, I try to avoid a lot of that shit. I don't really try to study the analogy of why people even want to participate in that, because to be honest with you, I knew when I got out I was going to do something bigger with my life. So I didn't put a lot of energy into the guys who were involved with gangs unless they were on my same page. I fuck with some guys who were North Daniels, who were good dudes, who were on some business shit. I fuck with some Crips, that was cool. Had a white partner I fuck with, Asian cats I fuck with. Had a couple Bloods. We used to chop it up about business. So it's to me it was all about your hustle. I wasn't really trying to involve myself with all the political stuff. Did I know any Houstons? Didn't know any Houstons. Somebody said, can I talk about Asians in jail? Is there any significant number? Who are they aligned with typically? Thanks. I knew some guys from Laos that I used to fuck with, and he got out, and I fuck with him. Good dude. Straight up cat. You know what I'm saying? I met in the pen. I got a homeboy that was Korean. Good dude. I fuck with him on the street and in the pen. The numbers, small. That I've seen where I was at. Might be at a large number, 10, 12, 15. I didn't see like 100 Asian guys because I don't think they're getting caught up like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in the state, but in the feds, I didn't see any institution I was at that had like lots, just like, 30 or 40 Asians in one time. And one of the spots, seeing what the Asians sit with the Hawaiians, you know what I'm saying? At some spots, they had their own little area. It just kind of depends as far as who they line themselves with. It would depend on whoever the shot caller with and whatever the political situation was at that particular institution. Somebody said, Big Herc, when you were doing time, did you ever think, man, I'd be working minimum wage, leading a simple life? Respect from UK. Nope. Never considered working minimum wage. Never wanted a simple life. That's why I sold drugs. That's why I robbed banks. That's why I was a gangster. You know what I'm saying? So, I always want to be my own boss. I always want to have my own hustle. I never want to work for somebody else and have somebody else telling me what to do, when to get up, when to be there. If I'm late, I can get fired. They control my retirement, all that bullshit. What I do for a living now, I got a clothing line with the Fresh Out clothing line. Also had another clothing line with my wife, which was called Sex Addict Clothing. That's kind of like on the back burner. I got some tech stuff I'm working on, you know what I'm saying, that I keep on a DL because a lot of people be hating. We got the workout drink. I buy and sell cars. I make a little money here and there doing cars, and also do, personal training and nutritional consulting. So, I got clients that hit me up with meal prep. Sometimes, they're looking for a dietary regimen. I help them out with that. And, every now and then I got a couple clients I'll train one-on-one if the money's right. So, I keep my hustle alive, man. I'm always doing something, whether I'm in the gym, whether I'm, kicking in, fucking around with the car game. I'm always looking to entrepreneur myself. And, I've had my own corporation for several years now. And I work for myself, you know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. So I said also porn star. Yeah, used to do porn too. When I got out, I did a little bit, you know what I'm saying? The money wasn't the same. I had, managed a talent here and there. I had a couple girls I was managing. Too many headaches, too much drama. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Shit, man, I gigoloed when I first got out, you know what I'm saying? You had motherfuckers, I was busting motherfuckers' wife's cheeks out, you know what I'm saying? I was hustling. Good thing I took care of my body, and a motherfucker wasn't all blown out, and I was able to use my looks to get ahead, you know what I'm saying? And whether it be personal training or, busting cheeks, you know what I'm saying, female butt cheeks, you know what I'm saying, I kept my hustle going. But, that's what type of time I'm on. And like I said, if you're out there, you ain't a bad looking dude, you know what I'm saying, use your looks, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to sit around and just be broke. You take advantage of what you have and prosper. I want to take the time now to do some of these shout outs. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Texas. I seen you earlier. Shout out to the 504. Somebody asked about Satan worshippers in prison. I never run across them. But somebody said New Platts, New York here. Okay, shout out to you. Um, Somebody said Toronto. Shout out to Toronto. Shout out to London. Um, Shout out to Tennessee. Uh, Somebody asked, shout out to Delaware. Shout out to Mexico. Um, Two questions I'm going to answer real quick before I continue shout outs. Somebody asked how much money did I have to start out with when I got out. I had roughly probably about maybe $400 or $500, and I had invested in some books. As far as I wrote books while I was in prison, so I had a bunch of books to sell, and so I basically I had like probably 1,000 books. I was slinging those books. How to Get Down in the Porn Game. It's on Amazon. I was slinging those books. I was also working, security. I got a part-time job doing that. And I had a couple homies from the pen who helped me out with a car when I got out, so I was fortunate. And then somebody else said if I had life without parole, would I consider ending it all? No, because I'd be fighting to get off the life without parole. I never thought about suicide. I wouldn't cut my wrist. I wouldn't hang myself. I wouldn't blow my brains out. I'm not that type of nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm a always figure a way to better myself, and I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I have no out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna always make sure that if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna think it through now, because I'm not one of those people who just gonna say fuck it anymore. So that's what's up with that. But shout out 916, shout out to Whittier, shout out to New Bern, North Carolina, shout out to the Bronx, New York. Somebody said, did I ever play football in high school? I played a little bit in junior college, but I fucked it off because I wasn't focused, didn't have a good mentor, man, and I just wasn't into it like I needed to be in order to be successful. So that's what's up with that. Somebody said, do races in jail actually hate each other? Or do they just need to run with your race because that's how things are? I would say it's political. They run because they ain't got no choice. I know white guys that were cool, and then we would chop it up, but as soon as we hit the yard, they act like they didn't know me. You know what I mean? Because of their homeboy. So it's a lot of political shit, man. People follow like the herd mentality because that's what they're compelled to do. And if they had the choice, a lot of these guys would I think, love to communicate with each other because they would have some type of dialogue and maybe open up an opportunity for business, But shout out to Brian Charlotte and Carter. Shout out to 602. Shout out from Barranquilla, Colombia. Hope I said that right. Shout out to 314 St. Louis. KC in the house. Shout out to KC. I got some homies from KC. Yeah, man. You guys, I love you guys tuning in, giving me ideas for the show, supporting the show, you know what I mean? And, keeping us rolling. And our ultimate goal to show is we're working right now to bring this on a network. And when we get on a network, this shit is going to be the shit. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have seen Locked Up Abroad, Locked Up San Quentin, all that bullshit cops, well, Fresh Out's going to be better than all that. We're going to have the sickest prison show on TV that's showing motherfuckers really about something, and with a positive twist to it, and we're gonna open up some real dialogue and put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Queens, New York. Shout out to Syria. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lang Language Consulting in Mexico City. Shout out to Santa Rosa. All right, Santa Rosa. I used to be out there. That's my old stomping grounds. I went to Santa Rosa Junior College for a hot minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's gonna be, our show's gonna be raw, no commercial BS, real shit, and y'all gonna love it, man. We're gonna keep y'all with some real gangster prison shit, but with a positive twist, like I said. Shout out to Houston, Texas. Shout out to Linwood, California. Yeah, man. Somebody said, have I heard of Sir Dino? It's funny you said it. I think I have heard that name, and I think he was at Terminal Island with one of my partners, and he was. If it's the same cat, man, I think he Christian up because he was up in there and he figured he wasn't with the gang life. But I have heard of that name. He was a rapper that was talking a bunch of high powered stuff, but when he got to the pen, he wasn't with that life. But that's what happens, man. A lot of these rappers, man, they talk about that life. They get into the pen, man, and shit. They ain't cut like that, man. So, a lot of that it's Hollywood. But yeah, man. I'm gonna wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? It's been about 40 minutes. But I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Man, tell your folks to tune in, man. Holler at me, man. If you guys like this time slot, 3 o'clock Mondays, let us know. If you like something different that you think is more favorable for you guys to tune in, let us know. Check out the website, www.FreshOutSeries.com. Shout out to Kansas City again. And yeah, man, you guys, we love y'all as fans, and keep supporting, you know what I'm saying? And, let your people know about the show, man. And like I said, if I didn't answer your question, I apologize. I try to keep up with as many questions as possible. I know sometimes I don't get them in, but you can always email us at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com, and I'll do a prison talk on that question eventually. And I'll keep you in the loop. Shout out to Ireland. And yeah, you guys, it's been great. Much love. And I hope you guys tune in next Monday, 3 o'clock. Actually, if I'm not, I might not be in town. If I'm not in town, I'll make it Tuesday, but I'll let y'all know. But hit me up. Let us know what you want to talk about, man. Shoot us an email. Check out our Instagram and Twitter. You know what I'm saying? We represent. We're the realest motherfuckers on the internet with this prison shit. And I don't try to put extras on it or talk about shit I don't know about or act like I'm the toughest motherfucker because, there's always somebody tougher. I just try to keep it real with y'all. Much love. I'm out. Big Herc, Fresh Out Series, Prison Talk. Hey, man, let's keep it rolling. Y'all have a great week, and I'll see y'all next week. Much love. Late. Shout out to 559.